Very comfortable December day in Miami, 73 degrees. Winds gusting a little more than the 10 miles per hour. Indianapolis last lost to the Dolphins 7 games ago. Miami has dropped 2 of its last 3, most recently, of course, and most memorably the shutout against Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. Danny Kite is the kickoff specialist.
And Vern, the key to those standings in the AFC East, what a huge swing for Indianapolis. They either leave here with a commanding 2-game lead, or they lead in second place because of that earlier Miami win.
Right. Miami would have the tiebreaker against Indianapolis with a victory today. There's Jerry Wilson, one of the 2 deep men, as the Dolphins win the toss. This is the latest in the season Indianapolis has led the division since 1987. Marion chases it into the end zone, and out of 70 kicks this season, that is the 6th touchback registered by Danny Kite. And Dan Marino, fresh from one of the more disappointing games of his illustrious career. But for the season, at 1,266 yards, 6 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, half of those against Dallas. And he had a marvelous 4th quarter, particularly in game 1 between these 2 teams, when he led the Dolphins with 25 points in the 4th quarter. From the 20 into the breeze, Marino. J.J. Johnson is the deep back in the eye. Marino with a little bit of a play fake and flips it out left side. Caught by Stanley Pritchett, who opens today at fullback. Jimmy Johnson in his 4th season as the head coach. 2nd down and 10. Here's the toss to Johnson. Looks for help. And doesn't get much, but second effort after the 27-yard line. A flag is down. This one will probably come back. Tackle made by Mike Peterson. Mike Carey is the referee today.
Holding offense, number 61, 10 yards, 2nd down.
Jim Mora, 2nd season as the Colts head coach. 2nd down and 20. Here's Marino into the right flat. Almost picked off. Jason Dulcer was covering the tight end, Troy Drayton, who had the ball slip through his hands.
Well, Dan Marino struggled mightily against Dallas, so this is the time when his teammates have to step up around him and say, you've done it for us before, now we're going to do it for you. What happens? A holding call on the first play of the game, and now a dropped pass by Troy Drayton, the tight end. Dan puts it right on his hands, and Drayton, just lack of concentration, lets it get away from him. You can't expect Dan Marino to win this game all by himself. A disappointing first 2 plays, to be sure.
Okay.
3rd and 20, 3-man front. They bring 4. Marino across the middle, caught out of the backfield by J.J. Johnson. He scoots across the 20, but far short of the yardage needed for the 1st down, and the Dolphins will be forced to punt. Mark Thomas, Tony Blevins chased him down. And that brings on Tommy Hutton. He will punt deep to Terrence Wilkins, who is a danger at that return position.
So barring some type of a mistake here, Vern, the Colts will end up with good field position.
That's not a great punt either. Wilkins at the 39 and is knocked down as he gets to the 46-yard line, but good field position from which Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts get it on offense for the first time today. Only 48 yards away from 3,000 for the year. And as significant as the 21 touchdowns and the 12 interceptions, he has only been sacked 10 times this season. That is low in the NFL. Peyton Manning and the Colts, 1st down at the 46.
And here comes the crowd trying to do its part. This is a lot more noise than you normally hear at Pro Player Stadium.
Andrew James, who's making a homecoming here in South Florida, gets the 1st down carry, and Zach Thomas gets his 120th tackle of the season. 2nd down and 2 from the 41. Manning on the draw play, and Edgerrin James has a lot of room up the middle. Dances left out of the tackle of Patrick Surtain with a first down at the 32 and a pickup of 14 yards. James comes right. Good block on the right side, but excellent pursuit by Patrick Surtain, who's there to make the tackle, number 23. Good job of run defense.
Well, and we talk about Peyton Manning, and he gets so much of the attention, but really it's Edgerrin James that makes this offense go. Peyton, of course, his quarterbacking skills legendary, but Edgerrin James and their selection of him with the 4th pick in this year's draft, he is the guy that's really making it happening because he's running the ball with power, with speed, and he's a gifted receiver.
Manning to throw. 2nd down and 9. Fires it right side for Gilger, the tight end. It's another Indianapolis first down. This one made in front of Robert Jones, the linebacker.
Well, look at the protection up front. Only 10 sacks so far this year given up by this Colt offensive line. Look how Peyton Manning is allowed to stop, survey the field, no pressure up the middle. All the pass rush was routed to the sides. He's able to look up the middle and see his tight end Dilger.
First down and 10 on the opening Colt drive of the afternoon. Edgerrin James up the middle. Brock Marion made contact, and a flag is down.
The ball's out, the flag is down, and it's being ruled down. And Edgerrin James is a marked guy here this afternoon. He has put the ball on the ground. He's lost 4 fumbles. Let's get it from Mike Carey. Ooh, we've got a clipping blocking below the waist here against Indianapolis as this comes back. But James fumbled on their first offensive play last week. And you know, once that ball gets loose, a defense is merciless in the way they come after you.
As Zach Thomas discussing the option with Mike Carey.
Illegal crackback. Personal foul on number 84. 15 yards. Remains first down.
Well, the call is made on E.G. Green, the wideout. And that brings it back to the 31-yard line.
Well, let's take a look at E.G. Green right up here at the top of your screen. He's going to come down. You must stay above the waist when you come down on a crackback block. And it was obvious that E.G. went low to cut his man. You got to stay high on a crackback. 20 years ago that was legal, right. No longer.
First down and 25. Manning flips it out to James. Good coverage provided by Rich Owens, number 96.
Well, one of the things that Jimmy Johnson set out to do here in Miami was to increase his team speed. Everybody has to run, defensive linemen included, and this is just good preparation by Rich Owens. He's a defensive end, but he reads the screen all the way. He floats out, doesn't even rush the quarterback. It's good alert football.
2nd down and 30. High snap. Manning gets it out to E.J. Green. And that is going to be ruled down by contact at the 34 and will bring up a 3rd and a bunch. Tim Bowens made the tackle. Now think about this as we get set for this 3rd down play. 53 previous times this year, the Miami defense has faced an offense with 3rd and 10 or more. The opponents have converted twice. So the odds are long for the Colts here. 3rd and 29.
That is why Miami has a winning record. It's all because of the guys who are on the field now.
Out of the gun, 5-man rush. Trace Armstrong providing coverage, and they complete it to E.J. Green at the 27-yard line. And that's going to bring on Mike Vanderjagt, who has hit the last 15 field goals in succession.
But that reception by Green, and keep in mind this whole series of calamities was caused by Green's illegal block that really kind of negated a wonderful Indianapolis drive to that point. But that completion right there makes life easier for Vanderjagt.
Bradford Banta will snap it back. Steve Walsh is the holder. Officially listed at 44 yards for his 16th straight. He extends his own club record, and Jim Mora's Indianapolis Colts get on the board first. 3-0. Midway through the opening quarter, a 44-yard field goal off the toe of Mike Vanderjagt, and the Colts lead at 3-0. Jason Taylor. There is E.G. Green, whose penalty of 15 yards got them out of a 1st and goal. Green, who missed 7 games with an injury.
And Miami's defense at the time, Vern, boy, they were all looking around trying to figure out which direction the Colts were coming at them.
Danny Kite with his second kickoff of the afternoon. This one will be returned by Brock Marion from the 3. Marion gets a block at the 15-yard line, bounces off a tackle at the 30 and is down at the 32. Tackle made by Spencer Reed, but a nice return from the Miami Dolphins. We'll be right back. 1st down and 10. 3 and out for the Dolphins last time. Here's the handoff to J.J. Johnson. Squirts into the secondary, picks up a 1st down out to the 43-yard line. That's a gain of 12 for this year's 2nd round draft pick.
Good solid blocking up front. Richmond Webb, Mark Dixon on the left. The center is Tim Ruddy. But take a look at the hole right inside. They reroute Ellis Johnson to the outside. He has a chance to make the tackle and doesn't. But Jimmy Johnson is not ashamed to say he's taking a page from the New York Jets, who have played the Colts close, and they did it by running the football over 30 times and not turning it over. That's all Jimmy wants today.
Here's Marino with a quick setup. Finds Drayton, who hangs on this time. Drayton across the 50-yard line for Miami for the first time. Close to a 1st down. Now let's check in with the 3rd member of our commentary team. Here's Bonnie Bernstein.
Good afternoon, Vern. Back on Thanksgiving, Dan Marino had one of the worst games of his career, throwing 5 touchdowns against Dallas. And Jimmy Johnson told us if Dan's struggling like that again, he won't hesitate to pull him and put in Damon Eward. He says Dan's been so confident for so long that he's used to being able to throw into double coverage. I know he doesn't like taking the sack. I know he doesn't like throwing the ball away. But if they blitz him, he's going to have to do that. Jimmy Johnson said he does have enough confidence in Marino. He says if he just stays within the system, he thinks he'll be just fine.
All right, Bonnie, of course, he threw 5 interceptions against Dallas, and he gets a 1st down. Here as the carry is made by J.J. Johnson. 1st down at the 45.
The Jets were the only team to play the Colts this year that has held them below 25 points. They did it. They held them to 16 and now the Colts won both those games, but the key was that they ground away with the football. They didn't turn it over, and Jimmy just said, if we take care of the football today, hammer at them, that's our only shot.
Play fake. Dan Marino has been sacked only 3 times this year. Almost goes down here as Chad Bradsky was there, but then he flips it out incomplete.
This is a good indication of one of the reasons that Dan is sacked not that much throughout his career. One, he's got a great release. He's quick. But Dan Marino is a big man, a big, strong, big guy. And this is Chad Bradsky, the guy with the Giants last year, who's had what an impact with the Colts. 7 sacks so far this year. And he just collapses the pocket on his way to Marino.
3 wide receiver set now on 2nd down and 10 from the 45. Marino hands it off to Johnson, who comes to his left, finds a good block out on the left side and gains 8 yards. Mark Thomas and Michael Barber make the tackle.
Where they have had holes, they've been over here consistently so far here in the 1st quarter on the left-hand side. Dixon swings around the block of Drayton and Webb. That's just good power football. Sound like something that would make Jimmy Johnson happy?
Well, the absence of a running game has been an Achilles heel for this team for years. They started this season with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the starter, released him or traded him actually to Cleveland. Cecil Collins was injured as a starter and then gave way to this young man, J.J. Johnson. As Jimmy said yesterday, he weighs 230 pounds and he can motor.
Yeah, Cecil Collins broke his fibula a couple of weeks ago, November the 14th against Buffalo. So this once, and keep in mind they had Tyrone Wheatley here during training camp. They released him. The Raiders are glad they did. So they've gone from having a plethora of running backs to now they're getting dangerously thin. Autry Denson is just about the only guy that they have in reserve behind J.J. Johnson. And again, you see why Jimmy Johnson loves to run the football a lot. 25 or more, chances are they're going to win.
Play fake, Marino. Good protection. Oh, what a pass. Yatil Green out for 2 years with torn ACLs. Inactive for much of this season, but the beauty in that play emanated from number 13.
That it did, Vern. This time, it's Dan Marino doing the play action. Everybody was worried about the play action coming from Peyton Manning. It's the fake to J.J. Johnson that freezes everybody. There's the fake to Johnson up the middle. Just outstanding pass protection by the Dolphins offensive line. It just doesn't get any better.
Gain of 21. They hand it off to Johnson, who is banged down immediately. Bernard Whittington was one of those who was there. And Chad Bradsky also part of the tackle. Whittington moves outside from tackle to end today because of his prowess as a run stopper.
Yeah, Bernard normally would be in a tackle, but they bring in Larry Chester, who's over 300 pounds, and he's a run stuffer. And this is it's no secret. You know, Jimmy Johnson might as well go ahead and mail the game plan to the other team. You know what's coming.
Tony Martin. They fake the reverse. Marino still has it, but good coverage now in the end zone. Incomplete. He wanted to go to J.J. Johnson in the left flat, but Michael Peterson had terrific coverage on him.
Now, if he did mail the game plan, I'm pretty confident that play wasn't in it. All right, let's go ahead and roll this thing and take a look at, you know, I don't think it's a really a nice setup, because look at everybody on the defense, how they take a step forward when they fake the reverse. Dan's only really been rushed the one time, but that's just good coverage in the end zone by the Colts in their secondary.
Shotgun, 3rd and 10. Marino caught at the 2. Incomplete. Dropped at the 2. Yatil Green could not hang on to this one. And that will bring on Olindo Mare to try and tie this one up.
Well, the ball appears to be beautifully delivered by Dan. It's a stacked formation. Green makes the break to the outside, and Dan could not have thrown that pass any better. That just was right between the 8 and the 7. And that's just a lack of practice, lack of experience. 3rd-year guy, but keep in mind, he's a rookie by all other standards, Yatil Green.
Mare, high snap. The kick is down. He missed 3 against Dallas on Thanksgiving. From 31 yards out, Olindo Mare gets his 30th field goal of the season. We're notched at 3. 3:02 to go in the first. A tie game at 3-3. Peyton Manning on the near side, and Olindo Mare getting ready to kick off. Second in the league with 15 touchbacks this season. And that scoring drive came to naught on a drop pass by Yatil Green. There's Dan Marino. He has now attempted 1,000 passes against the Colts alone. That last incomplete pass is 1,000. A career that began playing the Baltimore Colts twice in 1983. Here's Mare's kick. This will be taken by Wilkins. And number 80 is out at the 20-yard line, where he is tackled and dropped. We play late in the first quarter. Second meeting between Indianapolis and Miami. Colts at their own 21, second offensive set of the game in the 3-3 first quarter game. Peyton Manning gets the snap, straight drop back. Fires it across the middle. Marcus Pollard is tight end for a gain out at the 24-yard line. The Colts and Dolphins upgraded their defenses with Chad Bradsky and Brock Marion respectively. See the impact only on CBS NFL.com.
23 years old, Peyton Manning. So wise, so advanced, so mature beyond those years. It really makes you scratch your head sometimes and say, is it really possible that this kid could be this good this young?
Here's the handoff to James. Tarek Glenn trying to lead the way. But Brock Marion was there to stop the play.
Surprising.
3rd down and 2, out of the gun. Manning pumps, Fires it through the hands of Edgerrin James. Now a flag is thrown from down at the 45-yard line. So this could affect things dramatically.
I don't see anybody from Miami's defense leaving the field. That's why. That'll be an automatic first down.
Holding, defense number 54, 5 yards, automatic, first down.
That's Zach Thomas, the middle linebacker, a guy that Jimmy Johnson is quick to praise in his pass defense, especially against crossing patterns. Needless to say, he's the leading tackler. That won't change as long as Zach is manning the middle linebacker position. But that's the kind of a penalty that it's a double whammy, because it continues a drive when you force the punter onto the field, and now they get another shot.
Paul Shields back in as the blocking back in front of Edgerrin James. After the automatic first down, play fake. Manning does that as well as anybody in the league right now. Here is Ken Dilger. And Calvin Jackson is back to make the tackle. But my, oh my, when you have a running back like James and a faker like Manning, what a combination.
Well, the only way to describe Peyton Manning's play action passing is he's a technician. He has studied the greats, really looked at guys like Boomer Esiason and all the others, and it really does make it happen. Jimmy Johnson said, we've got to give up right there, that fake. He said, we'll give up some runs, but I've been on my safeties all week. Let them run the football. We can't get beat on the big play because you're looking into the backfield.
Here's the handoff to James on the sweep right. And he eludes a tackle. Still running. Brock Marion kind of gave up on the play. That is a touchdown. A 41-yard scamper and lack of effort a couple of times from Dolphins, who should have had him.
Well, you're right on, Vern, as far as the missed tackles. This is just for all the world to see, a little misdirection, and he's faking the off guard and then swings it to the outside. There's the first miss, and that's just an outstanding move that he puts on Brock Marion. Jim Mora concerned about Edgerrin James coming back to Miami, where all his family and friends. I know last night he goes, I just hope it all works out fine. You worry about a kid on the road back home. Well, Jim, I don't think you have to worry about a whole lot.
Vander Jat's extra point is up and good. They're dancing throughout Immokalee, Florida right now. That's the hometown of Edgerrin James. 42 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Edgerrin James has quieted the crowd, except for those from Immokalee, Florida.
And what a block he got out front by Marvin Harrison that really made it all happen, Vern. We're going to take a look at it after the play, but what a job by Marvin Harrison, who's as slight a receiver as you'll see in the NFL. But he's the reason that Edgerrin James got loose around the corner.
Danny Kite to kick off for the third time. And keep in mind, what kept that drive alive was a defensive holding call on Zach Thomas on an unsuccessful third down. And here is a nice open field tackle made by Keith Elias, number 23.
What constitutes a complete player? Watch Marvin Harrison. He's working on Patrick Surtain right there. Ties him up, but watch him come off right there. Picks up Calvin Jackson, the safety. Here comes Zach Thomas. He's too late. And now it's just Edgerrin James against Brock Marion. And that turned out to be a mismatch. But at the point of attack on the contain, Marvin Harrison with 2 blocks on Jackson and Surtain made it happen.
See the huge advantage Indianapolis has posted in the first quarters of games thus far this year. Another reason they have run off 7 in a row. Dan Marino, his team now trails by 7 for the first down and 10. Handoff, J.J. Johnson. Jeff Burris with the tackle and a fumble. There's a scramble for the football.
That ball's
picked up,
free.
it's live. That's Chad Cota, and that is a Colt touchdown.
The oldest adage in sports, keep playing until you hear the whistle blow. Keep playing until you hear the whistle. Guys from Miami seem shell-shocked.
Untouched, touchdown.
Guys from Miami were shell-shocked, standing around, just staring, and alertly the Colts take off with it. Now the ball is definitely out. Burris, the initial contact, it is a fumble. And Cota, why not? Nobody blew a whistle. It's a free football, and every guy from Miami within 5 yards of the football standing there flat-footed.
How about this for a team that is 8-3? That is the 7th return for a touchdown against Miami this season. That's the 2nd fumble return.
Well, I guarantee you, Vern, none of them were the result of more sloppy play than that.
And from what was a quiet crowd, we now have a stunned crowd. And an angry Jimmy Johnson. Chad Cota picks it up and totes it in. A 26-yard fumble return for the touchdown.
Again, another look at J.J. Johnson. It's not a vicious hit by Jeff Burris. He kind of takes it more than anything else. You know, his teammates come in to follow up. And everyone from Miami is just standing around looking. Well, if nobody's going to touch me, I guess I'll get the easiest touchdown ever. Around to Gadsden and all his other teammates are just dumbfounded, I guess. But in the 6th grade, they tell you, play until you hear the whistle. And there is the ball. And right there, if nothing else, if Johnson just leans over and touches Cota while he's on the ground, the play is over. J.J. Johnson just, well, that's a rookie mistake. Let's look at it from up top. And again, this will give you a better illustration of Miami just gawking. Drayton, Gadsden on the ground. Yatil Green just standing there. The only guys that finally figured out at the end, a couple offensive linemen figured maybe we better get in on this. Boy, that's a demoralizing touchdown for a team as well, Vern.
Chad Cota signed as a free agent this year. One of the offseason acquisitions who solidified this defense, along with Chad Bradsky. Played at New Orleans for a number of years and scoots in untouched with a touchdown. Here's the kick. Taken by Marion at the 2. Coming left at the 20 and down at the 24-yard line.
Well, now we'll see.
Yes.
Now we'll see if this Miami offense can somehow regroup, because there's a lot of embarrassed people in that huddle, and as you can tell, there have been all season long.
One of those fumbles returned was that of Marino, and he also has had 3 passes returned. Here's Ellis Johnson with an alert defensive play to make the tackle on J.J. Johnson, and that is the end of 1. Colts score 14 points inside of 23 seconds, and they lead it 17-3. We'll return to Pro Player Stadium right after this message. There is a view, we are told, of North Miami here in South Florida. We start the 2nd quarter with Dan Deerdorf and Bonnie Bernstein. Vern Lundquist. The Colts lead it 17-3. And a first down as Marino marks out the cadence. J.J. Johnson. 1 into the hands of Mark Thomas, number 90. And let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
All right, Vern, J.J. Johnson's fumble resulted in the 8th turnover, given up for a TD this year. He came over to the bench and sat there with his head between his hands for a good few minutes. Had a couple of teammates come over, one of whom was Dan Marino. One of the people who didn't come over was Jimmy Johnson. Vern.
All right, 3rd and 9 is the count here for Marino and the Dolphins.
I think J.J. Johnson can feel some sense of relief that one of the ones that didn't come over
That's right.
was Jimmy Johnson.
Out of the gun, Marino goes right, and Tony Blevins does not get the contact, or does, but the catch goes to Gadsden, who is the most physical wide receiver that this team has in his 2nd season now.
And I think there was a wonderful demonstration of it, because he took a big-time hit right in the back from Blevins. Just a simple out pattern, but watch it. It's really great timing by Blevins, who makes contact just as the ball arrives, and by whipping his legs is able to trip up Gadsden and bring him down. That might have been a Miami touchdown if Blevins doesn't get him to the ground.
It does result in a first down at the 46. Play fake, blitz coming from Jeff Burris, and that one is intercepted. Picked off after the tip from Michael Barber, and Tyrone Poole is returning it. Tyrone Poole has a blocker in front, and he is down. No, still running at the 39. Another missed tackle. A tip from Barber. Marino is picked off for the 6th time in the last game and a quarter. A flag is down as well.
Well, it's a crossing pattern, and Barber just sitting back in his middle zone. He gets a chance at the football, and he makes the most of it. I think this flag came in well after the interception. I don't believe this penalty in any way is going to affect the possession of the football. Actually, Mike Carey picked up the flag and put it away, so obviously it's affecting nothing.
35-yard return on the interception. Manning, with his last completed pass, now has 3,000 yards for the season. And this is incomplete down at the 25-yard line. And here's a late flag as Marvin Harrison turned around and said, I think you should throw one. Patrick Surtain was defending.
Holding. Defense, number 23. 5 yards. Automatic. First down.
Well, he actually tackles Marvin Harrison.
Let's go back to the interception, Dan.
All right, the upper right of your screen, see number 53, that's Mike Barber. He's just sitting back in his zone, and he just lunges after the football. That may have been a completed pass, but it just, because of Barber's effort, he flips it up into the air. Tyrone Poole, relatively easy after Barber's effort. But Dan Marino just trying to work the crossing pattern to Green, and this is just one big play after another on the part of the Colts.
First down and 10 after the penalty.
Very smart here by Manning. He brings his team to the line in plenty of time.
Play fake again. Back to Dilger. This one read by Surtain, who can't complete the tackle. And Dilger picks up 5 yards after the initial contact was made defensively. Sean Wooden finally got him.
Yeah, that's a quick screen by design, Vern. Adam Meadows, the right tackle, is going to get out there and make a block. This is going to go to your left here on the screen after that fake. And Adam Meadows, number 73, see him breaking, but he can't get out there in time to get Surtain. But Surtain can't hold on. He had a chance for a big play. There's not been great tackling, to say the least, by the Dolphins so far in this game.
Manning is perfect, 7 of 7. Hand off James. Circles right. They can't bring him down. Sean Wooden is among those attempting the tackle, number 22.
I am surprised that the crowd here at the stadium is taking this as quietly as they are, because this is the home team right now is getting pushed around. They're being outsmarted, and they are being in some ways pushed around a little bit by the Colts. Again, look at the contact there. Good blocking, but once someone wraps up on Edgerrin James, he takes them for a ride.
Another first down. Here comes the blitz. Good pickup. Nice hot read by Manning. Goes immediately to Dilger on a little slant pattern, and they're down inside the 10 at the 6-yard line. There is a flag. And holding. This will come back.
Still first down.
Illegal procedure.
Mike Carey with a quick call.
Yep.
He's almost making the call before the play's over. One of my favorite plays, the one we just saw to Ken Dilger, and it's almost gone the way of the dodo bird. That quick little 2-yard pass to the tight end who just runs straight down the field. The Colts, one of the few teams in the league that still use it with some regularity.
After the penalty, first and 15. And James scoots inside the 20 to the 19. Second and 12 at the 19-yard line. Marvin Harrison goes wide to the right side. 3 receivers set now. And the shotgun on second and long. Whoa, bad snap. Manning goes back and falls on it, but loses yardage all the way back to the 42.
On the Colts' opening possession, Larry Moore, the center, had a couple high ones to Peyton Manning up above his head, but he was able to handle them. This no shot, even at 6'5", Peyton Manning had no chance of getting this thing. And Larry Moore, you could see him put a little more into that one. He actually levitated, whatever you want to call it. That is so frustrating as a center. It's a blind snap. And it takes you a moment to figure out what went wrong. Why is everybody running the other way?
A loss of 22. It's 3rd and 34. Manning drills it. Almost picked off. Intended for E.G. Green. Hits him and pops in the air, but it's incomplete. And what that fumble did do is take them out of field goal range.
And this drop took them out of field goal range, because if Green's able to hold on to this, Vanderjagt's going to have a chance. It's a little bit behind him, but certainly catchable. Maybe a foot or two behind him where Green has to try to pull it in with his right hand, but it was catchable.
Now here's Hunter Smith, and here is Nate Jacquette. The Colts have the worst net punting average in the NFL. It's Buckley back instead of Jacquette. The net punting average is less than 29 yards. Buckley, fair catch at the 11-yard line. A 30-yard punt. Dolphins have it back. 17-3 Indianapolis, about to add to the lead, but had a bad snap from number 50.
And Larry Moore did get a visit from his head coach. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Jim Moore offering words of encouragement. Larry, just his second year, and I know that is an awful feeling, because you don't know how it happened. You do it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, and all of a sudden, why does one take off?
Helium.
We're at sea level, Vern. It should take off like that. For Miami, it has been a 3-point effort, but look at that. The last two ended in turnovers.
On first down, the handoff to Johnson, who comes right, runs into defensive effort of Mark Thomas, number 90. 2nd down and 10 after the lack of a gain on the running play. Marino, Johnson bursts up the middle. Near the 20-yard line. That'll be just short of a first down. The tackle made by Tony Blevins, number 26.
Well, this is a drive that its success may not be measured in points, but given the fact you're already down 14, the Dolphins desperately need a couple first downs here to keep from turning the ball over one more time to the Colts in excellent field position. This is where, from the beginning of training camp, you hammer away at one another, hopefully in an effort to convert a first down like this.
On 3rd and 1, Marino puts it out to the left side. That is good for the first down as Yateel Green makes the catch, number 87.
Well, if there were questions about Dan Marino and the strength of his arm, that's the type of a pass, Vern, I think that ought to erase a lot of them. You know, Jimmy Johnson told us, I don't see any difference in his arm. The Dallas game was a case of bad decisions. This is look at that. That's just as tight a spiral, as sharply delivered as a guy could do it.
And Marino historically has come back strong after poor performances. Did that earlier this season, and there's a sack. Mark Thomas, number 90. That's his 2nd sack of the season.
A rare sight watching Dan go down, especially out of this shotgun formation. Cornelius Bennett, he comes from the outside, and he draws the attention of Tim Ruddy, the center. That opens up the middle. When the center has to come out and pick up a blitzer off the edge, that means he's not there to back up one of the guys in the middle. And the Colts took advantage of that.
You see, that's only the 4th sack of the season for Marino, despite the fact he's had just one less attempt than Damon Huard. On 2nd and 19, here's Johnson. Not so sure the crowd appreciates that play call.
You are what you are. And
that's been a problem a long time.
This team will run the football if Jimmy Johnson has to beat them over the head with baseball bats to get them to do it. You just can't throw the game plan out the window. Running is what the Dolphins will try to do. even if you have to try it sometimes on 2nd and 20.
Well, let's see what they do in 3rd and 17 circumstances. Out of the shotgun, Ruddy will snap it back. 4-man rush, going deep right side. He's got Tony Martin wide open. Martin had to wait on the ball. And a flag comes down at the 46. The pass underthrown because at one point Martin had 2 yards. And this will be interference.
It's going to be interference. Tony Martin and Dan Marino, this is a fly pattern all the way. And Blevins was waxed pretty good by Tony Martin.
Pass interference. Defense number 37. Automatic. First down.
Well, he calls Chad Cota, but actually the penalty is against Tony Blevins right here, number 26. Right there, he is beaten. Now that's not the interference. Here comes the interference. Right there, before the ball got there. Although I got to tell you something. Watch the timing here. Actually, that's not there. Did we miss it someplace else on the field?
I don't think so.
The interference has to happen at the ball.
That's a 43-yard penalty. Here's Martin going deep again and makes the cut just as Marino delivers the ball. Beauty.
Well, I got to tell you, Vern, that looked like a pretty good play by Tony Blevins.
Yes.
He was beaten originally, but his coming in and hitting the arms of Tony Martin, the timing looked pretty good to me. Let's look at it. Let's look at it one more time. Tony Martin's waiting on the ball. I don't know how you can call that interference in any shape, manner, or form.
1st and 10 now after the completion to Martin. J.J. Johnson bangs off the tackle. A flag is thrown. Michael Barber, number 53, made the stop.
Well, you see a little bit about what Jimmy Johnson likes out of J.J. Johnson. That's how you finish a run.
Holding. Offense number 85. 10 yards. First down.
Vern, let me know when you find 85 on Miami's roster.
I'm looking diligently.
Aren't we both? Well, we'll start working in either direction of that number. Number 84 is Troy Drayton, the tight end there at the point of attack.
I think you got a culprit.
Although by today's standards, that's not holding either. That is how you finish a run, as J.J. Johnson goes right through Michael Barber.
Spoken like a man who spent a lot of his life at right tackle.
Oh, that's the way. Vern, you're allowed to put your hands on him now.
Here's Marino. Off balance throw. Caught. 23-yard line. Tony Martin again. In front of Jeff Burris, number 20. That's a gain of 11.
How'd you like that throw?
Huh. Wow.
Look at this. Dan's flushed out of the pocket. Ellis Johnson forces him out. And then off his back foot, not able to step into it at all. And that ball has zip on it. That ball is just beautifully thrown. That big time throw by Dan.
5:35 to go first half. 2nd down and 10. The big play in this drive thus far, a 43-yard pass interference call against Tony Blevins. Shotgun. Blitz. Marino right side. Goes deep. Flag is down. Catch is made. Touchdown. Aronde Gadsden, who caught a 2-yarder from Marino to win game 1 back in October.
Man coverage all the way by Jeff Burris. This is mano a mano. And how about this? When we were concerned about could they muster up a first down on 3rd and 1 inside their own 20, Dan Marino takes them the length of the field for a touchdown.
Olindo Mare for the extra point. Ewan will hold. Ed Perry with the snap. Take a look at the touchdown again.
Touch pass by Dan Marino. And a beautiful touch it is.
Dolphins go 89 yards in 8 plays. Half of it came on a controversial pass interference call. 43 yards of the 89. And then Gadsden makes the catch from Marino. Here's Terrence Wilkins. He can fly. Out to the 32-yard line. Indianapolis now leading by 7. 5:05 to go, first half of play. That was 4:15 for Marino. Welcome back to Pro Player Stadium. Indianapolis 17, Miami 10, 5:05 to go, first half of play. Backs in the eye behind Peyton Manning. Edgerrin James darts out of a tackle, cuts back, and works his way out to the 36-yard line. Second and 5. Quick flip, left side. Harrison dragged down at the 39-yard line. Came into the day, of course, or actually into the week, tied for 3rd in the league. Jimmy Smith and Chris Carter with 75 receptions, and Marvin Harrison had 74. But Jimmy Smith had another brilliant game on Thursday night.
Yeah, he sure did. What did he catch? 10?
Yeah.
I think, and now he leads the league with 85. Again, those numbers coming into today's game.
Harrison is 2nd in the league in yardage. And it's 3rd down now with 3:45 to go before the break. Manning across the middle, caught. Perfect pass to his tight end, Ken Dilger. And that's good for a first down. A gain of 20.
I'm telling you, Dilger leads the league in yards going backwards. This guy catches a pass, and people hit him, and he turns his back and starts backing up and picks up another 3. I've seen this guy do this a half a dozen times this year. Watch it right here. He'll just, here I go. I'm just going to start. He is darn good at that.
First down and 10. Manning chased. Goes right, fires short for Pollard, the tight end. And that's a first down, Indianapolis at the 30-yard line. Zach Thomas with the tackle.
Oh, and George Hill, the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, I guarantee you is upset because Peyton Manning, when he goes on the move, 9 times out of 10, goes to his right. He really has a preponderance of his runs. When he flushed, he goes right. And he breaks contain, gets outside, and comes up with another big play. You work all week long. Don't lose contain to the offensive right side of the formation.
On first down, Edgerrin James gets a good block by E.G. Green. It was too good a block. Flags are all over the place. I should have said tackle.
Holding, offense, number 84, 10 yards, remains first down.
That is the second very costly penalty on E.G. Green. The first came on the opening drive of the day.
You might be able to get away with holding like that if you're inside a guard and you're kind of in the mash in there. But when you're split out as a wide receiver like E.G. Green was there, you're first of all, you're only about 7 or 8 yards from the official. Now check this out. Now, right there, that's good enough. But watch him finish this. Oh, no. E.G., that is not going to cut it. I hope that shake of the head is saying I really messed up instead of that was a bad call.
Had a cracked back block, 15-yard penalty on the first drive. This time he cost his team 10. 2-minute warning. 2 minutes away from the NASDAQ halftime report. Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry with scores and highlights. And they'll have a preview of the second game of our CBS doubleheader. Seattle down in the Bay Area to take on Oakland. That's 2 minutes from now. Peyton Manning is 10 of 11 throwing the football. First and 20 from the 40. He'll hand it off to Edgerrin James, pitch it back. Good coverage downfield, so they go for the short man Wilkins. And Wilkins again out of a tackle. This time he gets by Zach Thomas.
Well, Terrence Wilkins, without a doubt, the most explosive of the Colts once he has the football. And again, this is the ultimate play action, a flea flicker, where James throws it back. Now, this is good coverage. If you see downfield, they doubled up on Marvin Harrison, the deep threat. But right here, I'm telling you right now, Terrence Wilkins is not going to be brought down one-on-one by anybody in this league if he's got that big a cushion.
That's a gain of 21 on 1st and 20. Here's James out of a tackle again and heading for the 5-yard line. And the corner, he is out of bounds inside the 1. The Dolphins are tackling air.
I don't know that every time Edgerrin James rushes the football that Bill Polian doesn't think to himself, you know what, I am really good. I am really good. When everybody was talking about Ricky Williams, look at this. Look at the open field brilliance, the power of the stiff arm, and then the burst upfield and staying in. Edgerrin James is as complete a running back as we've seen come into this league in quite some time.
And he's now got his 8th game of 100 yards or more. This time closed down at the 1-yard line, but 103 yards for Edgerrin James. 8 games in excess of 100 this season.
And keep in mind, Vern, he also came into this game with 46 receptions. He doesn't come out of the game. His blitz pickups are extraordinary. There's just no hole in the game of Edgerrin James.
1:01 to go before the halftime break. The scoring difference in the game right now, a fumble return for a touchdown. But boy, Indianapolis threatening again and looking great.
Well, and Tom Moore, their offensive coordinator, what a luxury. He's got great players who execute. And there we go, a touchdown. Keep in mind that after the penalty, what was it, 1st and 20?
Right.
And they overcome that like it's nothing. This is a football team that the upside, Vern, I just don't see an end to it.
Well, they also had a 3rd and 5 earlier in this drive, and Gilger got the first down catch for 20 yards. And here's James for his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
And I tell you what, I don't know who he was with last night or how many of his friends and family Edgerrin had a chance to say hello to, but it obviously hasn't put a hitch in his giddy-up at all.
Vanderjagt for the extra point. Up and good. And those 8 100-yard rushing games for the season also equals a cold record held by a Hall of Famer, a guy named Eric Dickerson. He did it 11 years ago in 1988. So Miami gets a bit of life. They get a big pass interference call. 43-yarder to help set up a touchdown by Arando Gadsden. And just when you think Miami has gotten back in this thing, Indianapolis turns around and zip, zip, zip down the field, and another touchdown.
And when you looked at this matchup going into this game, the first thing that comes to your mind is how desperately Miami needs this game. In many ways, they need it more than the Colts do. The Colts are still in the thick of things, even if they lose this, even though they're in 2nd place with identical records to Miami. But in thinking that, I thought Miami might have an advantage here at home. But what an assertion of their talent by Indianapolis. And you look at those standings, Indianapolis leaves here, if they win, with a really commanding 2-game lead. And Miami is almost certainly then going to have to go on the road if they make the playoffs. New England, of course, with the big game tonight against Dallas. And there is this division. You wonder who's going to be left standing after they've been duking it around all season long, Vernon.
Danny Kite getting ready to kick off for the Colts. And Brock Marion is deep. Brock Marion after a couple of bounces.
It's been a while since he's had people kick away from him.
At that point of the year when one can begin to envision the playoffs, and here's the way it would line up if the playoff picture ended today with an Indianapolis victory. They would get a bye in the 2nd seed behind Jacksonville. Seattle would host Buffalo, and Tennessee would host Miami. That's assuming an Indianapolis victory today. And of course, a lot can change, but so much at stake for the Colts and for the Dolphins in this one.
And nobody could argue the fact that Jacksonville and Tennessee are the beneficiaries of playing in a much softer division. Of course, you could say that for anybody in the NFL. Softer than the AFC East.
Here's Marino. Darts to his right, pulls up, incomplete. Intended for Yatil Green at the 40-yard line. And another reminder that the NASDAQ halftime report coming up 44 seconds from now. Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry, and we'll preview the second game of the doubleheader. Most of you will see Seattle's visit into the Bay Area to take on the Oakland Raiders. Others will see Kansas City at Denver, Cleveland at San Diego. That's game 2 today. Miami with all 3 timeouts remaining. They've got a 2nd down and 10 at the 31. Marino into triple coverage, completes the pass. Now they're saying incomplete, no possession, as the contact was made by Tyrone Poole, number 38.
And that, contact comes in all shapes, forms, varieties. That was big time contact.
From not the largest guy. Here's a flag.
Holding, number 74 offense. 10 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
That's Brent Smith, who's starting for James Brown at right tackle today.
Yeah, kind of a shame for James Brown. With an ankle sprain, he had 69 consecutive starts, and that streak came to an end today. James not even active for the game. Brent Smith, who has started and played before here for the Dolphins, fills in ably at right tackle.
Always a chance of showers in South Florida, and we're getting sprinkles right now, which is sending some folks underneath. Here's the pass dropped by Yatil Green at the 35. The weather's getting colder, but the divisional races are heating up. Get a complete review of every team as they battle for the playoff positions. Just click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com.
And as we watch back-to-back incompletions, one a drop because the ball got knocked loose, I can't help but think of Dan Marino's comfort level and how much higher it would be if O.J. McDuffie was active in playing today. He's missing his 2nd game in a row.
Here's a draw play. This is Stanley Pritchett out to the 28-yard line. Time has been called, and it is taken by the Colts. (24-10) with under 30 seconds remaining and a sudden rain shower. And on 4th down, Tom Hutton back to punt. Wilkins grabs it at the 26.
Look out.
That scatters plastic and other things out of bounds at the 36. 9 seconds to go before the break. And a 1st down at the 33. Peyton Manning is going to, as they say, take a knee.
Well, maybe they would have taken a shot, but it's raining pretty hard, and why run the risk of the ball slipping off the hands of Peyton Manning? The sky's really open up now.
24-10 as we get to the halftime break.
Geez, this looks like a baseball game with everybody running off with it raining.
And let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
All right, Jimmy, you said you didn't want this game to get into a shootout. How did it get to this point?
Well, we turned it over a couple times there early, and of course they got the easy touchdown off of the fumble recovery. And, I think we can move the football. We got to play better defense. We're not tackling Adrian James.
Coach, thanks. Vern.
All right, thank you, Bonnie. Coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report, Jim Nantz will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights from today's action. That is all a part of the NASDAQ halftime report. (24-10) Indianapolis in search of its 8th consecutive victory. Their last loss was at home to the Miami Dolphins. A thrilling game, and this one has been equally entertaining, I think, particularly if you are a Colt fan at this point, Dan.
Well, the game's had a little bit of everything. Awkward plays, flickers. We've had broken tackles. We've had missed tackles. It's had a little bit of everything. Why don't we go ahead and check the halftime numbers? The one thing you're going to see on the part of the Indianapolis Colts is wonderful balance. Look at that, 103 yards rushing, 104 yards passing. Although the deal breaker in this game so far has been Edgerrin James, the one of the two Miami turnovers led directly. Chad Cota ran it in for a touchdown. But so far, it's Edgerrin James. The guy's averaging almost 10 yards a carry here in the first half. Vern.
And how brilliant, as you said, does this make Bill Polian look when you go back to the draft in April? Now let's take a look at what Edgerrin James added to this team in the first half.
Well, elusiveness, power, the ability to just make people miss. And, again, he's back home, played here at the University of Miami. He's a big guy. His stiff arm is becoming a lethal weapon, Bert. And this, of course, just from the 1 yard line, good blocking on the left side as he jams it in. But Edgerrin James, 9.4 yards a carry and a couple touchdowns. Not a bad first half.
As we get set for the start of the second half, let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
Jim Moore pretty happy with his Colts, as you might imagine. He said on offense, though, a couple penalties in the red zone I wish I could have back. On defense, he said he'd like his team to defend the run better on the 3 wide out set, defend the pass better on the left-hand side. And a quick note from the Dolphins sideline, safety Brock Marion has a contusion on his left quadricep. He is questionable to return. Vern.
All right, Bonnie, thank you. And the Colts will get the football as we open this half. Terrence Wilkins back in anticipation of the kick from Olindo Mare. 24-10. Well, some might say this is the most significant late season meeting between these two teams since they met 22 years ago. Eerily, it was December 5th in 1977, a Monday night game. The Colts were 9-2. The Dolphins then were 8-3. Miami won that game. The Colts lead in this one. The PS to that story is that they both finished 10-4, and the Colts went into the playoffs because they had a better conference record. The Dolphins didn't get into the playoffs.
Almost unheard of today that a 10-4, obviously they play 16 games now, but that type of a winning percentage wouldn't get you into the playoffs. Of course, there's been the addition of a couple extra wild card teams in the last 20 years. Wonderful balance, as I mentioned, with the Colts in terms of 103 yards running, 104 yards passing. Identical number of plays. Look at that. Well, they do have one more. They do have one more rush. But again, that's the kind of a balance that every offensive coordinator dreams about.
First down and 10, Colts. Edgerrin James, this time they get him. Tim Bowens, number 95, with the tackle.
Bowens and Gardner are the two hosses in the middle of this Miami defensive line, and to this point, the relatively young, and when I say young, Steve McKinney, Larry Moore, Waverly Jackson, the inside center and 2 guards for the Colts, all 3 only second-year guys. They're doing a nice job on the big tackles from Miami.
Manning back to throw on second down, flips it out, intercepted, picked off, and this will be a touchdown. Sam Madison, 7th interception of the season, and he strolls in for the score.
Now, rarely has a big play come at a more opportune time than that came from Miami. The ball from Peyton thrown a little more to the sideline than I think he wanted, or whether or not he was anticipating his receiver being more to the outside, you don't know. But being in the right place at the right time is what great players do. And great is certainly the description, I think, for Sam Madison here in 1999.
Many would argue that Sam Madison is the best cornerback in the league right now. Peyton Manning has cut down his interceptions measurably from a year ago, but this one very costly. Only the 13th off of Manning this year, but returned for a touchdown by Sam Madison. And now Wilkins gets set for Mare's kick. This one's short. Wilkins runs under it. It hits off his knee. Picks it up and moves out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. The tackle by Larry Izzo.
The pass is intended for Marvin Harrison. There he is on the right of your screen. Watch Marvin when he goes to plant to make his break to the outside. He slips right there just a little bit. Right there. He slips a little bit. And that, I think, instead of catching it in his body, he has to lunge for it. It bounces off his hands right to Sam Madison. But I think trying to come out of his break altered the position of where Peyton Manning thought Marvin Harrison was going to be by maybe a yard or so. Little things like that can end up being disastrous.
Here's a play fake. Manning goes deep for Harrison. How's that for a comeback? That is the first Harrison catch of the day. And off the play fake, they go deep to Harrison for a gain of 36.
Just a little skinny post. Marvin Harrison in motion. I don't know that there's a better, prettier pattern in football than this thing right here. Just a slight little alteration right down the middle of the field. Patrick Surtain, who was with him from the beginning, not able to be a part of it. But as it so often does with a big play from the Colts, follows play action by Manning.
That's a gain of 36 and the first down inside the 38. Here's Edgerrin James. And again, the pursuit this time on Edgerrin James. Outstanding Tim Bowens and Zach Thomas. But you watch Peyton Manning and the conversations we've had with him this time, Dan. He talks about his ability as a play faker, play action passes. He says it's more important to carry out the fake on a running play. And he did that. It didn't fool anybody. But
yeah, he did. And he'll do it this play and the next play. He really prides himself on carrying out that fake every single play.
Play action, all about effort, Peyton Manning said. This is a straight drop back. He has the man open, bobbled, and caught. It's Harrison for his second catch and is down at the 34-yard line.
Well, we weren't inside the locker room, but I can only imagine what Jimmy Johnson had to say to his defense about their tackling. You heard Bonnie mention it, and Jimmy mentioned it as he was leaving the field at the end of the first half. You know, talk about the old raise the roof. I'll bet you he did raise the roof, and I'd be surprised if we'd see sloppy tackling this half out of his Dolphins D and Zach Thomas and company.
3rd and 6, 3 wide receivers, and this time Manning moves under center. They had the bad snap in the spread in the first half. Straight drop back, blitz, hot receiver Edgerrin James with a blocker in front. A flag down, and this one might come back.
You know, even though Peyton Manning goes under center, he's still using a silent snap count. You see him slap his center, Larry Moore, on the backside to tell him any time from now you can go ahead and snap it. And the Colts offensively can say we have met the enemy. They are us.
Holding offense, number 74, 10 yards, remains 3rd down.
Waverly Jackson, the right guard, he gets called for the hold, but they've had to overcome problems. E.G. Green a couple of times, one a hold, one an illegal crackback block. It has been a productive, obviously, with 24 points, but a lot of going one step forward, 2 steps back for the Colts.
3rd and 9 after the holding call. This time they do go from the spread formation. High snap again. Manning steps up, lobs it, caught a man at the 25. That is good for another 3rd down conversion. Harrison with a gain of 12.
And again, Peyton Manning buying a little time, goes to his right. You see the snap. It's a good snap, but it's a good thing Peyton Manning is 6'5". You know, it's only about 4, 5, 6 steps to the right, but it's his favorite direction. And the Dolphins aren't doing as good a job as they should be doing in trying to seal off his escape route to the right.
Just inside the 25. 1st down. Manning fakes the flip, goes deep in the corner for his tight end, Dilger.
Back up now.
1st and goal at the 8.
Ken was their 2nd-round draft choice from Illinois back in '95, and he's, again, just another one of the kids that's playing in this offensive system for the Colts. Pump faking, play action. Peyton Manning has such a grasp of the little things that can take a quarterback from that level of being pretty good to that level of being truly great.
1st and goal. James to the 5, where he is met and driven down. In the first half, when Miami cut the score to 7, Indianapolis came right back down, extended it to a 14-point halftime lead. Here's Sam Madison on the 2nd play of the 3rd quarter. scoots in with an interception, and this is the Colts' answer. They come right back at Miami. Second down, just inside the 6 as the ball is spotted at the 5. Manning with time, dances right, comes back inside, caught.
Touchdown.
Terrence Wilkins.
What direction did he go, Vern?
Backwards.
He went to the right again.
Yes.
He went to the right again. Peyton Manning. He needs a couple extra seconds, so he'll just scoot to his right, and again he gets outside the pass rush of Miami. See right there, he's able to move to the right. And I'll tell you something, Wilkins just sat down, waited for the ball. Some guys can do it, and some guys can only think about doing it.
Vanderjagt with the extra point. Up and good. Terrence Wilkins actually started this third quarter. E.G. Green did not. 31-17. Danny Kite will kick off for the Colts. Nate Jaquette is deep. Brock Marion, as Bonnie told you, bothered by that contusion. And here's Jaquette. Out to the 20. And spilled as he gets to the 29-yard line by Keith Elias, number 23.
Let's go back and take a look at the finish of that touchdown drive. Tom Moore loves clusters, and of course in the middle of the cluster he's going to hide his smallest guy, Terrence Wilkins. Now that cluster is going to work this part of the end zone over, so of course that's the direction that Peyton Manning is going to go to try to buy a little extra time. And when you've got 3 receivers working in that small of a part of a field, it takes a quarterback with some really good vision to find the open guy, and of course Peyton Manning did. There's Tom Moore, 61 years old, and on the top of his game.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 28 of the receiving team. 15 yards, first down.
That infraction called on Ray Hill, a backup cornerback, on the kick return, and it cost the Dolphins. They're now back inside their 15 at the 14-yard line. 31-17 with 9:18 to go in the third. First down and 10. Marino with a quick setup. Finds Jatil Green out to the 25-yard line. Cornelius Bennett, who has had a resurgent year, my goodness, in his 13th season.
Well, he's only the leading tackler for Indianapolis on defense after those 9 years in Buffalo and 3 in Atlanta, and Dan Marino takes the Dolphins to the no-huddle offense.
First down and 10. Marino. J.J. Johnson tries to bounce back to the right. Now he's got a little bit of room. Chased by Mike Peterson, number 52. And by Chad Cota, number 37. But Johnson reversing field and coming back to the right.
Well, the most reversing of fields are done because there's absolutely no place to go. And J.J. showing a little speed here. You know, he's a big guy at 6'1", 230. Actually ran away from the corner of Indianapolis' defense.
Ellis Johnson shoulder high with that tackle. Number 62 on Johnson.
Vern, do you think there's a guy having more fun for the Colts than Ellis?
Ellis Johnson, a veteran on this team, and he was one of those who went through the back-to-back 3 and 13 seasons, and told us, what, a month or so ago, that his aspiration is to become a professional bass fisherman.
Imagine that.
There's money in them there lakes.
I hear it's actually on TV every night.
I heard that too.
He may need an extra big bass boat.
Here comes the corner blitz. Marino in trouble, fires it out.
That's intentional grounding, Vern. Oh, holding. Dan got it close enough to a guy. I stand corrected. When Mike Carey launched that flag, I thought he was going to get Dan. Again, we're talking about a guy.
Holding. Offense, number 78. Penalty is declined. Brings up fourth down.
Again, what a wonderful illustration of Dan Marino and his size and his strength. Completely wrapped up by Bennett. Still able to get it close enough to a guy to keep from getting the intentional grounding. There's a lot that goes into Vern, him not being sacked very much. And I think one of the things that's overlooked is his physical strength.
Here's the punt by Hutton. Wilkins over the shoulder grab, and then he drifts out of bounds at the 17-yard line. That is a 50-yard punt, nothing on the return. The Colts, however, are dangerous, as we have seen, when they have the ball. We are midway through the third quarter in this critical late-season game. Indianapolis and Miami, the defensive unit, getting a rest now. And Dan Manning also on the sidelines, his team trailing by 14. Gaudy numbers thus far for Peyton Manning. He's had one hit the floor, one interception return for a touchdown, and one incomplete. 17 of 19. Edgerrin James, the only man in the backfield, double tight end set. James, well, they have drawn a bead. He's gotten their attention, Dan, in this half.
That time Darrell Gardner was the player with penetration in the tackle.
They are a soap opera. Second down, Manning on a little slant pattern. Terrence Wilkins out to the 31. It's Marvin Harrison, beg your pardon.
And that time Indianapolis taking advantage of that matchup out there with Harrison and Patrick Surtain, because the motion appears to watch him come right in behind, and by the time Surtain reacts to that, it is way too late. And Patrick Surtain not even looking like he's all that anxious to even get in on the tackle.
Patrick Surtain getting his second start of the season, but his first since being promoted full-time as a starting left cornerback. Played high school ball against Peyton Manning in New Orleans as a draw play. And this one
give him a rush, young.
at the 32-yard line, the tackle made by Rich Owens.
And Peyton telling us that Surtain actually got the better of it. I guess won 2 out of the 3 matchups.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain was an option quarterback at Carr High School in New Orleans. He said they played, what, in the 9th grade?
Yeah, they played several all the way through high school. And then they also played basketball against one another, where Peyton said, no contest.
Yeah.
You're a much better player than I am.
Manning getting the better of him here. Second down and 8. Manning, Marcus Pollard. A hot read out to the 37-yard line. Sean Wooden, number 22, with the tackle. Well, the consequences, again, just can't be ignored in this game. If Indianapolis can dig out a victory, they go back home with a 2-game lead in the division, 4 remaining.
And a 2-game lead in the AFC East. That's quite an achievement.
The Dolphins are trying to avoid losing 3 out of their last 4. They dropped a game on the road to Buffalo. They were devastated, 23-3. Came back home and beat New England. Here's Manning in trouble. Rich Owens got him.
And that's not a case where Rich Owens was unblocked. I think this is just a great pass rush on his part. Look at him get inside Tarek Glenn, number 78, with that inside swim. And as an offensive lineman, we used to say that's when you get whiffed. You don't even get in a good enough position to hold him.
Now Hunter Smith's second punt. Again, the Colts with the worst net punting average in the NFL. Under 29 yards. Buckley and Jaquette both deep. Only 9 men up. This is a poor punt. It comes sideways at the 40 and then takes a little spin toward the south. A 30-yard punt. Nothing on the return. Dolphins have the ball. First down 10, best starting field position for the Dolphins this afternoon. They operate from their own 43. Play action Marino, deep right side. Tony Martin wide open in front of Jason Belzer and behind Jeff Burris. And he is out of bounds with a first down, a gain of 25 yards.
Well, straight zone coverage this time by the Colts. And Tony Martin looks like he's going to run a deep post, but then he makes a break to the outside and finds the hole. right between the corner and the safety, and Dan drops it right in. The Colts much more of a zone team in their secondary, whereas the Dolphins, I think as everybody knows, a press team from start to finish.
Now Martin in motion, followed by Jeff Burris. Marino pumps once, deep left side, man and man. Caught, touchdown!
And that's why the Colts play a lot of zone, because that was man to man.
Tony Martin from 33 yards out. Jeff Burris trailing and then trailed him all the way into the end zone.
Well, Jeff Burris bites on the pump fake. Now take a look at Tony Martin. Break to the sideline right there. That's when Dan Marino pumps. And when he pumps, Jeff Burris takes just enough of a step to the sideline that it put him in a bit of a trail position.
Olindo Mane's extra point is up and good. Second touchdown for the Dolphins in this half.
And Miami, Vern, refuses to get carried out on their shield.
Under 4 to go, third quarter, 31-24. Mark Dixon getting a little tape job. The Dolphins go 57 yards, 2 plays. Martin from 33 yards out. Marino showing a deft touch for his second TD throw today.
And Mark Dixon, like all offensive linemen, probably, who knows, finger dislocated or something like that. Hey, tape it to the next one.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Here's Mare's kick. Wilkins will take a knee. Touchback. Take another look at the 17-year veteran Dan Marino finding Tony Martin.
Drops back. And look at the touch after the pump fake. Look how he drops this right into the hands of Tony Martin. Allows him to make the adjustment. By that time, he's got a step on Jeff Burris. 12 out of 20, 186 yards, a pair of touchdowns, 1 interception. And of those 12 completions, I can think of at least 4 drops by Marino's receivers today.
Look at that, 53 touchdowns against the Colts. That's a career for many guys.
Well, every pass he throws, it's a record of some sort.
Right. Now the crowd's here. Play action from Manning. Deep left side on the crossing pattern. And this one is caught by Harrison. And bingo, here comes Indianapolis again.
This game has been a game of these teams answering one another. Every time one of them has a real productive drive and comes up with something, the other team comes right back and answers. Into the Miami zone, and that's a rare look at Miami sitting back in the zone. And I'm wondering if they're getting a little gun shy of locking Surtain up on Marvin Harrison. How's this on first down?
Marvin Harrison, 5 catches each in this half. That's Harrison in motion. Edgerrin James bounces to the outside, followed by Robert Jones, who drags him down at the 46-yard line. Second down.
Well, and again, the luxury of picking up 6 yards on first down changes everything for the offensive team.
This team is second in the NFL in first down yardage, second only to the St. Louis Rams, averaging better than 6 per first down. James, another sloppy tackle. Edgerrin James to the 36. That's a gain of 18.
You know when a running back is tough? When the majority of his cuts are back to the middle of the field. There's the stiff arm again. Zach Thomas can't do it. But when faced with a decision, it's always back to the middle of the field for Edgerrin James. And is this guy developing a stiff arm that every defender in the league is going to start paying serious attention to? That time, a little love tap on the helmet of Zach Thomas.
Oh, looked like an Ali jab in his prime. 125 rushing yards for the Colts. And here's Manning with a play fake to Edgerrin James. Deep right side, intercepted. Picked off, and the chase is on for Patrick Surtain. The high school antagonist, Bishop Newman in that man's case. Carr in that man's case. They have at each other on a Sunday afternoon in December in the National Football League.
Well, Peyton Manning obviously was expecting a much bigger break to the sideline by his receiver. Again, play action, nothing new there. But Marvin Harrison, when he was going to make his break to the sideline, was late coming out of it. All right, let's watch Marvin. He was in motion, one-on-one with Surtain. But you see how he started to break to the sideline and then stopped and went back up the field. Obviously, Manning expected him to continue that break to the sideline. I'm sure this is something they're going to talk about on the sideline.
Turnovers are even. Dolphins with the ball. Blitz coming from the corner. Marino goes left side, incomplete at the 40-yard line. Intended for Troy Drayton, the tight end. Now let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
Vern, big news in Miami earlier in this week was when Jimmy Johnson benched veteran cornerback Terrell Buckley for Patrick Surtain. Jimmy said, this was a decision I was thinking about making last year, but I was afraid as fiery a disposition as Buckley had that he might blow up and cause a little dissension among the team. He said Surtain has high hopes from him as a young ball player, very physical, a ball hawk. He said, I totally expect the Colts to go after him, and I think he'll come back with one. And sure enough, he did, Vern.
All right, Bonnie, and Buckley, it must be said, has handled his demotion with class and dignity. Here is J.J. Johnson, flags.
Well, Buckley's situation is the same with veterans. His contract expires at the end of this season. We see the hold against Miami. And Terrell Buckley, by, I would say a high percentage, won't be back with the Miami Dolphins. It's just he's a high salary guy.
Holding offense, number 80, 10 yards, second down.
And Jimmy's saying if he's not going to be here next year, I might as well make the change now. And Patrick Surtain has given me that production.
Holding call on Tony Martin.
Remember, Terrell Buckley started his career in Green Bay and proclaimed himself a Hall of Famer on his way. In fact, they talked about they maybe will induct him while he's still playing. He had pretty high opinion of his talents coming into the league. And by and large, when he got here, Vern, to Miami, Buckley was persona non grata in a lot of places, and there was a question as to how well he would play. And he really has had a nice run here in Miami.
Known throughout his career as a gambling quarterback. And, of course, gave up 2 big plays in the Thursday loss to Dallas. After the holding call, here's Marino. Pumps, lets it go across the middle, incomplete. Another flag. This one thrown on the far side of the field.
Did somebody hit that ball coming out of Dan's hands? It sure looked.
Defensive holding. That's an automatic first down.
That's the easy way out of a 2nd and long.
Yes.
Holding defense, number 38, 5 yards, an automatic first down.
Call is on Tyrone Poole. So we are back where we started with this drive after the Surtain interception at the 49-yard line. 1:02 to go, 3rd quarter. 6th penalty against Indianapolis today.
Well, Tyrone Poole was locked up with Tony Martin and rode him all the way.
Martin comes near side against Burris this time. Poole up to press on Aronde Gadsden. Now the rotation in the corner blitz again. Marino left side. Almost picked off by Poole, who got an official instead of the ball. Sid Seaman, the head linesman.
Tyrone Poole had a great break on that ball. And actually, Sid protected himself pretty well with a forearm right to the chops.
Yeah.
That might be an illegal blow to the head. This may be a finable offense here for Sid.
Call Gene Washington.
Oh, look at that. He actually hit Poole right in the head. I don't know. We can't tolerate that type of behavior out of the official crew.
2nd and 10.
Unacceptable.
Marino, that one is tipped. Incomplete. All right, I know you fellas made note of Bruce Matthews in his 260th game for the Tennessee Titans today. He is the only other active player in the National Football League, as far as we know, who ever played against the Baltimore Colts, other than this man, Dan Marino.
They were all part of that magnificent class of 1983.
Here's Marino, got him in. Yatil Green at the 25-yard line.
Well, this time, Indianapolis sitting back with a 2-deep zone with their safeties, and Green working out of the slot. Util right there in the slot working against Jeff Burris. Burris loses track of both Green and the football. Jeff looking back. Chad Cota, his backup, well downfield. Burris looked like he got a little disoriented when he looks back to the quarterback way too late. The ball was by him.
Could be the final play of the third quarter. First down at the 25. Marino into the flat, caught by Stanley Pritchett. No gain on the play. That'll bring up a second down and 10 as Cornelius Bennett makes the tackle. We have finished 3 in Miami, and we'll return to Pro Player Stadium right after this word from your local station. We welcome you back to Pro Player Stadium in Miami. Vern Lundquist, Dan Deerdorf, Bonnie Bernstein. We began the fourth, a 31-24 game. Marino in the fourth quarter in the last game led the the Dolphins to 25 points.
Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Colts, now faced with the age-old question: do I blitz Dan and try to hurry him, because to sit in a zone is an invitation to disaster.
Second down and 9. Marino across the middle, caught. Mike Barber is there to make the tackle immediately on Aronde Gadsden, and a very modest pickup of a couple. Third and 5 at the 20. Colts showing blitz. Here they come. Marino reading blitz, fires it out on the right side. That's a first down as Gadsden is out of bounds with a first and goal at the 1. A flag comes down.
Well, a flag comes down very late. Well, the first rule of thumb is if you're going to blitz, you know it's going to be a short pattern and you got to tackle. This flag came in very late at the conclusion of this play.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 90 of the defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
All right, the blitz comes right up the middle, the safety blitz by Billy Austin, but Tony Blevins has got to make the tackle. You know your blitz is on, the blitz is no surprise, and right here you look at the end of this play, about 7 yards out of bounds, Mark Thomas goes ahead and gives Gadsden an extra shove. That's a good call. That was extra and uncalled for.
There's the dive by Johnson. No indication of a touchdown. He did not get in. It'll be second down. Jeff Burris up to make the tackle.
Well, I had mentioned, Vern, about Vic Fangio and what was he going to do. And he came with the blitz. And he had the good call, but you've got to execute it with a tackle.
Second and goal.
J.J. Johnson here, not looking like Marcus Allen. That's about 3 feet short of Marcus in one of his peak leaps. That was kind of off the low board instead of the high board.
On second down, motion. Play fake. Marino into the flat. Caught. Touchdown. Second effort, Stanley Pritchett. It was Barber who made contact and couldn't bring him down. Marino has thrown 3 today.
Mike Barber made the great hit, but he didn't wrap up. Here it comes. No, it's going to take a little more than that. It's going to take a lot more than that. Stanley Pritchett has been getting it done here in Miami for the last 4 years. And at 240 pounds, it's going to take more than a shoulder hit to knock Stanley off his feet.
Olindo Mare ties it up. The Dolphins have come from 14 down to notch it at 31. Michael Barber had contact with Stanley Pritchett at the 1, could not bring him down, and is no doubt deep in thought about that missed tackle right now as Olindo Mare gets set to kick off. Pritchett 1-yard touchdown. We're tied at 31. Larry Izzo, special team star, gets set to come down on kickoff coverage. This kick is being made into the wind. And it will be returned by Wilkins, who grabs it at the 7. Brought down at the 29.
We're in the midst of a bit of a Hall of Fame event right here. This is one of the better football games I've seen in a long time.
On first down and 10, Manning now moves under his center, Larry Moore. Play fake. Looks left, fires it left, incomplete. Nope. Out of bounds. Yep. Wilkins made the grab, but he was not in.
Boy, this is an aggressive throw by Peyton Manning. Working against Sam Madison, and Sam's sitting right underneath. And look where Peyton Manning delivers that football. One tiny little error by Peyton on that delivery, and Sam Madison is in perfect position to make something happen. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to have that kind of confidence?
2nd and 10. They've had problems with the shotgun. This snap is okay. Shovel pass, but the Dolphins read it. Rich Owens signed as a free agent. Robert Jones signed as a free agent. They're both there to make the tackle.
And Rich Owens having a monster game today. Rich Owens in on one big play after another. The Colts have run this shovel pass before, but Rich Owens just trails it all the way. He's all over Edger and James. Again, that's just the byproduct of being shown the look during the week by your coaching staff and, importantly, remembering.
3rd and 11. Blitz. Manning lets it go. Incomplete. It was behind E.G. Green. 4th down.
And Terrell Buckley could have intercepted that pass pretty easily. It looked like a jailbreak coming in on Peyton Manning. He's had pretty good integrity in the pocket. Trace Armstrong, the guy right up the middle. But Peyton Manning, look at that. T-Buck had a shot at that thing.
Hunter Smith has kicked twice for 30 yards each time. He does have the advantage of the wind at his back. Nice and high. Jaquette grabs it at the 22. Down at the 35. For just that long.
Yes.
It looked like Jaquette was going to get loose.
It sure did.
Game tied at 31, 11:50 to go in regulation. Dolphins have it first down at their own 35-yard line. Marino has thrown for 3 touchdowns today. And off J.J. Johnson. And he gets out to the 38-yard line. The tackle made by Chad Cota. And we check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
All right, Vern, this is exactly the type of position Cornelius Bennett did not want his Colts teammates to get into. Of most of his 13 years, he played against Dan Marino as a Buffalo Bill, and he said, I know what Dan's like. He never feels like he's out of the game. He never quits. He said, we have to be able to put the nail in the coffin. They blew a 9-point lead when they played the Dolphins earlier this year. They can't let that happen again, Vern.
Well, they have seen a 14-point margin evaporate. Here's J.J. Johnson. My goodness, Jeff Burris, number 20, up to make the tackle.
This is a possession by Miami that was set up by the Miami defense for the first time today, forcing the Colts to go 3 and out offensively. And we take a look at this good tackle right here. Jeff Burris came up. That's the way a corner is supposed to support the run. The significance of that is the Colts offensively have fewer 3 and out possessions than any team in the National Football League. And for the first time today, setting up this field position, Miami defensively forced Indianapolis to punt after 3.
On 3rd and 8, they go from the shotgun. Rob Conrad, the rookie, is in. Here comes the blitz. Marino, good protection, but in trouble. Down, fumble.
That's the ball.
That is a loose football. Who got it?
I think the Colts,
Yep. Indianapolis. Cornelius Bennett was the first man there.
Well, how appropriate is that? Where Dan was going, because he spun around He made a 180 and tried to hit out the backside of the pocket. It's good protection. That is good protection, but he pivots, and the right hand with the football in it is hanging low, and in that rotation it gets knocked loose.
Mike Peterson with a fumble recovery. Colts have it at the 31-32. Manning, James loses yardage. Boy, they have honed in on Edgerrin James in this second half.
Well, it's to make up for the lack of honing in the first half. Dan Marino, 17 years, 38 years old. But, Vern, that's the type of a play that if that was done by a second-year quarterback, we'd say what a terrible mistake that was by a kid who didn't know what he was doing. Dan knows better than that and has to take better care of the football.
Second down, 11. That's Dilger in the backfield. They hand it off to James. No, it's a fake, but the Dolphins were not fooled. Armstrong got there.
And take a picture of this, a rare sack of Peyton Manning. Peyton, because of Trace Armstrong, was wanting to throw. But talk about a guy who has enjoyed a second career here in Miami after his early career with the Bears. 6.5 sacks on the year. Steady, steady, steady. Trace Armstrong.
3rd and 20. Second sack today of Manning. Across the middle, incomplete, tipped at the last second by Calvin Jackson. 4th down.
And if I'm Dan Marino, I high-five every one of these guys coming off the field. Marvin Harrison sits down, and Calvin Jackson, he's got the hand on his back, but that's not interference. That's just a good, solid defensive play. That was really nice by Jackson.
Hunter Smith for the 4th punt of the afternoon.
You know, that's when your defense comes up big for you, when you not only hold, but you move them back 10 yards in the process.
And Trace Armstrong got the sack that proved decisive. Terrell Buckley awaits the ball at the 10-yard line. Well, whatever might have been the problem, it has been straightened out. Mike Carey said, let's go.
Mike Carey runs a good football game.
I agree. Banta will snap it back. Toward the corner. Out of bounds at the 2. Steve Muhammad was downfield. Number 31. So the Dolphins get it back. 8:47 to go in regulation in a tie game. That punt came off Steve Muhammad's right foot and was marked out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, watch this. He's the gunner on the play. Watch it hit his right foot right there. And that's what really diverts the direction of the football and kicks it out of bounds. Literally kicks it out of bounds. Now, you are not allowed to kick the football. I don't think the official saw. Steve Muhammad, I'm sure, isn't even aware. Pele is not that good.
Now the ball was spotted where the contact was made at the 5-yard line. And here's Marino handing off to J.J. Johnson, who gets 4 out to the 9-yard line over left guard. Mike Peterson makes the tackle.
If that kick is intentional,
right,
that's a penalty situation. An unintentional kick is not. I don't know how anybody could look at that and say nobody's that good to kick that intentionally.
Tony Martin is the motion man on second down. Marino moves to his left, goes across the middle, has a man at the 23. The catch made by Gadsden.
And how about the block to give Dan Marino time on Cornelius Bennett? With Stanley Pritchett showed that he's not only a good receiver, he's an outstanding pass protector as well. You're going to see him. There he goes, driving Cornelius Bennett right across. Dan Marino steps into the void created by that block and finds Gadsden for the first down.
5 catches for Gadsden for 80 yards. A first down at the 23. Clock at 7:35 and running. Handoff Johnson. Hauled down Cornelius Bennett. Looked like a slingshot as he went around him.
Well, Biscuit comes right back and makes the play. Strong side linebacker. He fills and shoots the gap. And that's a good backside read because the play is going away from him. As a linebacker, you take a chance when you fill a backside hole. You better get there because you're not in pursuit. He did.
Second down, 13. Play fake from Marino. Again, he's got protection, but he has to throw it away. And Dan took a pop back at the 5-yard line.
And a
cameraman goes down.
It just goes down as an incomplete pass, but Dan Marino doing the smart thing, protecting the football, just throwing it away. And you can make a strong case that Mike Barber could have been called for roughing the passer. And that is getting right on top of the coverage. That was real borderline by Barber. He got away with one.
3rd and 13. 4-man Colt rush. Actually a 3. Marino steps up. And Rob Conrad is there, but the umpire might have distracted his vision. And it will be 4th down.
Well, the umpire, more than any official on the field, finds himself in the middle of the action. It's what happens when you're only 2 or 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. Dan, under heavy pressure, tries to dump it to Conrad. Look at Dan's awareness. And it touches Conrad right on the hands. Rob should have pulled that in.
Here's Tommy Hutton on 4th down. Wilkins takes it in at the 36. Out of a tackle and near midfield, breaks another. He returned the kickoff 97 yards against these same Miami Dolphins the first time these two teams played. That is a 25-yard counterpunch by Wilkins. Shots from overhead and down on the field. The Miami defense dancing and trying to get the crowd into this.
I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. All 11 guys dancing to the music being played on the PA system. The crowd's going nuts.
From the 37, 1st and 10 Colts in the tie game. All 3 timeouts left for both teams. Edgerrin James bounces down to the 32, maybe the 31. And here are the last 4 Indianapolis possessions.
In stark contrast to the way they started the game. Look at that 2 3-and-outs. And then just a 4 and a 5 play drive. But this, again, the luxury of a big James run on 1st down creates lots of opportunities for the Colts.
2nd and 3. Here's James trying to get to the outside. Stacked up. It'll be 3rd down, depending on the spot. It looks like he's just short.
I would have bet anything, Vern, that a yard before he's hit, that Edgerrin James is going to pick up the 1st down easily. This just had the look of that he was going to get it in. Zach Thomas comes in there, and then he is stood up and driven back by Sean Wooden, and Sam Madison in there as well. Looked like an easy pickup. It wasn't.
Shields in as a blocking back on 3rd and a yard. James, no, Zach Thomas.
Well, I talked earlier about Edgerrin James, and when given a chance, more often than not, he cuts to the middle. This was a mistake cutting to the outside. That's a short yardage situation where you got to just lower it and go. That's playing right into the hands of Zach Thomas with that pursuit.
Mike Vanderjagt has hit 16 in a row, 1 for 1 today. This from 48 yards out to reclaim the lead. Got it!
This guy's on autopilot.
A one-time teammate of Doug Flutie with Toronto in the Canadian League.
Mike Vanderjagt, the hold by Steve Walsh, the good snap by Banta, and this kid has just been rock solid. But the Miami defense, they stiffened when they had to. Two good, outstanding plays on Edger and James, forcing a field goal try. Rats.
And here is by how much? Quite a bit, actually.
It had a little reserve.
Now, Doug Flutie was telling us last week that whenever the Colts have played the
Vern, when the kickers are getting to be this big. Vanderjagt is 6'5", 210. Whatever happened to the little Gogolak guys and stuff like that? Now we got kickers bigger than linebackers used to be. What's going on?
Vanderjagt 17th in a row. Now he does not have a strong kickoff technique, so they use Danny Kite.
How can a guy that big not kick off?
Physics is an amazing thing, isn't it?
It's a great gig Vanderjagt's got going here. He doesn't have to run down on kickoffs and get creamed like Danny Kite did.
Jaquette is the deep man. Again, Brock Marion out in this half because of a contusion in his thigh. Here's why Danny Kite is the kickoff man.
Oh, that's why. Well, Vern, my man.
Yes, sir.
Put on your seatbelt because this is, I've been here before. Haven't we all in these 17 years? Dan Marino down by 3. 4 minutes and 17 seconds on the clock. And watch the artist go to work.
I am suitably cinched up. 1st and 10. Blitz. Play fake. He comes left from Gadsden, who gets by Jason Belzer. Out to the 35 with a stiff arm and down at the 43. Nice start. That's 23 yards.
Well, Tyrone Poole comes on the corner blitz. Dan reads it and, of course, goes right to the... There goes Poole breaking on the blitz. And, of course, Dan comes right to Gadsden, even though he almost falls down. But on a blitz, your DBs have got to tackle. And that time it's Jason Belzer with a miss. Here comes Poole. Look at Dan. He recognizes it and immediately goes to where the blitz came from.
1st down and 10 at the 43. The blitz coming again from Cornelius Bennett and the corner. And Poole hits him as he lets it go, but he's got Tony Martin. Marino was hit by Bennett and Poole. A 15-yard gain.
And out of respect for Tony Martin's speed, being given a huge cushion. This is again, Dan knows Poole is coming, knows he's going to take a shot, but Jeff Burris gives way too big a cushion, and boy, that shoulder in the ribs, that'll leave a mark.
1st down and 10 at the 42-yard line with 3:27 to go in regulation. No blitz this time. Out of the backfield, caught by Johnson. Stunner step. Comes left and is down at the 35-yard line by Mark Thomas.
Well, how about Mark Thomas showing a little hustle for a defensive end coming all the way from the other side of the field to make that tackle. The tackling by the secondary has been suspect. That's one way to correct it.
This the first game of our doubleheader. Most of you will see Seattle and Oakland in the second game. Others Kansas City, Denver, or Cleveland at San Diego. 2nd and 3. Ball at the 35. Johnson going right. Pritchett with a bit of a block. And the spot will come at the 32-yard line. Larry Chester, number 64, with the tackle.
This is the stage of the game where I'm sure Jimmy Johnson and the Dolphins wish that it was about 10 or 15 degrees warmer here in Miami for this game. It's pretty cool, and it's a large advantage for Miami this time of year to play down here when it's really hot. And I know that they don't think it's nearly hot enough, because this would be the point in the game where Indianapolis and their defense would be really struggling for a little air.
Now here is the stretch at the request of Jimmy Johnson.
This weather has definitely helped the Colts.
A smidgen. Well, in anticipation.
A skosh.
A skosh. Yeah. Just a bit of a difference in a smidgen and a skosh. Here's what's at stake. Indianapolis comes in riding on a 7-game win streak. If they win, they have a 2-game lead with 4 to play. Miami, with a victory, would vault into a tie with the Colts, but would own the tiebreaker edge because they have defeated them, would have defeated them twice. In that game in October, Jim Mora's team fell to the Dolphins. A 2-yard touchdown with 27 seconds left. Marino to Gadsden. A couple of big plays before that. One was a 48-yarder on 4th and 10. Here's Marino left side. Yatil Green falling down in front of Belzer, but he makes the catch. First down.
And that's twice in a short yardage situation. Dan Marino has had the confidence to convert with a pass to Yatil Green.
Two minutes remaining here in Miami. Both teams with all 3 timeouts left. A 47-yard field goal for Miami now if they don't gain a yard.
But the key there, Vern, all 3 timeouts left. And that means Dan Marino is not thinking about Olindo Mare. He's thinking about the end zone and a touchdown. He's got the confidence to stretch it a little bit, and I think he's got some of the weapons working for him now.
And Marino has hit 10 of his last 12.
I don't see just them going. I think Dan has the confidence to try to win this by himself.
Into the right flat, he's got Tony Martin, and Martin out of bounds at the 20-yard line as Mike Peterson is there to defend.
Pretty high percentage pass again. Dan Marino with good touch all day long. Tony Martin being given lots of room. He's got the speed, although the shorter the field gets, the less you need to give him a cushion. And Jim Mora, I think justifiably so, a little concerned because he has seen this before out of this guy. Haven't we all?
1st and 10. On the ground this time, Johnson. Little stutter step, moves to the 18-yard line. Mike Peterson, number 52, with a tackle.
And Miami doesn't want to use their timeouts now. They're just fine with this clock running the way it is because regardless of what happens, they want to minimize how much time is left on the clock should Indianapolis get the ball back. So they're in no rush to start calling an end to this. And now they have to because they make a mistake personnel-wise.
Dolphins have to burn 1. They have 2 remaining. Richmond Webb having an equipment problem, and they are frantically trying to get his shoe tied to get him back on the field. I never thought I would be reminded of Tanya Harding in the 1994 Olympics in the NFL, but that's what it looked like.
Yeah, and there goes Richmond back out on the field. You know, when you've been to 7 Pro Bowls, you get 2 guys trying to put on your shoes. And that's worth, you know, they need Richmond Webb out there. And Marino took a timeout, went over to the sideline, and gave Richmond a chance to get ready.
2nd down and 9 from the 19. That's Martin in motion, followed by Burris. Marino into the flat for J.J. Johnson. Inbounds at the 13-yard line. Tackle made by Mike Peterson.
And still, I think they're doing the right thing here, letting it go.
Spot at the 14 now will bring up a 3rd and 4.
Although you're this close to the end zone, a win is what they're looking for. Forget overtime.
Gadsden and Green to the right side. Now Martin joins them. Marino drills it, tipped, incomplete. It'll be 4th down. The ball was tipped by Mark Thomas, number 90.
Just as Rich Owens for the Dolphins has been having a big game at defensive end, so is Mark Thomas. Look at him elevate up there. And did he touch it? He flicked it with a finger, I guess. And you could see how he altered the ball when it went down. At first it looked like he went by it, but no, he did hit it.
Ed Perry will snap it back. Olindo Mare from 32 for the tie. With 36 seconds remaining. We're tied at 34. Mare 2 for 2 today, and he's now kicked his 31st field goal of the season, equaling the Dolphin club record held by Pete Stoyanovich.
Olindo Mare gets a good hold, gets a good look at it right down the middle. But did you notice the response from the people in this stadium? Kind of tepid, because I think they know with 36 seconds left, yes, we're tied, but Indianapolis and Peyton Manning are going to get one more shot.
Edger and James will be a part of that shot. .36 seconds remaining in regulation. Mare has just tied it up with a 32-yard field goal after Vanderjagt had hit one from 48 yards out to give the Colts a temporary 3-point lead. A 66-yard drive in 10 plays. Indianapolis at one point in this quarter was up by 14. We're tied now.
And the key here, Vern, is I think you've got to be careful about kicking this ball away to Terrence Wilkins. I would knuckleball this thing, trying to minimize his return.
He had the 97-yard kickoff return in game 1. Here's Wilkins from 98. Nothing doing this time. He is down at the 31-yard line. The tackle made by Jerry Wilson.
Although that's not bad field position, getting it up beyond the 30-yard line. But boy, I'd have been tempted to try to keep it out of the hands of Terrence Wilkins.
Manning for the day, 226. Intercepted twice.
And he has all 3. And Calvin Jackson, the safety, has cheated way over to the side of Marvin Harrison.
Here's Manning, and that's Marvin Harrison all the way out to the 48-yard line.
And there's a quick timeout. There's a quick timeout. So they use 6 seconds on that pass to Harrison. They were going to have a tough time getting it deep to Marvin, so they break him off on a crossing pattern underneath. And you can almost, you don't want to say Miami's willing to give that up, because a couple more of those taking only 6 seconds. But it's the right route to run, because he was not going to get deep. He had double coverage all over him.
6 catches for Harrison for the day, all in this half. Mike Vanderjagt has hit 17 in a row for the Indianapolis Colts, hoping to get one more shot for the win in regulation. Here comes Indianapolis. 1st and 10, 2 timeouts left. Harrison starts in motion. It's a crossing route for Harrison again, down the middle of the 34-yard line. And that's a gain of 18.
And now he takes another timeout, Vern. So now there's 17 seconds left on the clock. Indianapolis has 1 timeout. And I don't know why this seems to be coming as somewhat of a surprise to Miami that Marvin Harrison is the go-to guy. And they can still afford to go underneath again, because they have 1 timeout remaining.
Vanderjagt has hit twice today. His career long is 53. He's also had 2 blocked this season. Has only attempted 1 of 50-plus this year. That was a 55-yarder. Mike Vanderjagt.
Never will he have attempted one bigger, though, than this one.
1st and 10. 1 timeout remaining.
They can even afford to run with James.
Guess what? Down at the 35.
Although I think their plan to run with James was to get a few more yards than that.
Time called with 6 seconds left. And Mike Vanderjagt, a 29-year-old who played collegiately at West Virginia, with a bit of a smile on his face as he comes out with what appears to be an attempt from 52 yards away.
Now the flags on the top of the stadium are directly in Vanderjagt's face. Now the flags, the little things on top of the goalposts, the little pieces of fabric, they're not moving a whole lot down here on the floor of the field.
Bradford Banta is the snapper. Veteran quarterback Steve Walsh is the holder. Mike Vanderjagt for the lead. Yes!
The lead and the win, Vern. The clock expired. The game's over.
The Indianapolis Colts have won 8 in a row. Mike Vanderjagt has hit 18 in a row. And Jim Mora's Colts go back to Indianapolis, a 2-game lead in the AFC East with 4 remaining.
And I think of what Jim Mora told us yesterday. If we should leave here with a win, I don't know what to think of this football team, because this is beyond my wildest expectations. Keep in mind, folks, 3-13 a year ago.
Nice job by Steve Walsh.
Spins the laces, and Vanderjagt gets all 6'5" into that. Not much of a rush up the middle. It was low. He knew it was straight. What a wonderful feeling that must be.
And on the sideline, the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. That's Jason Belzer, who went for a ride.
Well, and I think Jim said, hey, Jason, my man, I'm not 22 years old. You could hurt a guy doing that.
And the reaction from the losing coach. And there's a band of great popularity called Dire Straits. And that's where the Dolphins find themselves.
Well, at least one question was answered today, and that is that Dan Marino, remember, rust or decay? It was rust. And rust can be scraped off, and I think in Marino's case, it has been.
Here's the way they line up now after this game. Indianapolis at 10-2. Miami now tied with Buffalo. New England with a huge game for the Patriots tonight against the Dallas Cowboys.
And actually, Vern, in those, Buffalo has beaten Miami twice.
Our final score again, 37-34. For Bonnie Bernstein and Dan Deerdorf, I'm Vern Lundquist saying goodbye from Miami. The doubleheader coming up next.